Okay, so we said we're starting today on page 37 in the Manachai V'Re'ai, and it's a title called Apnimiyut Shelanu, which means our inner dimension. We call it like that. It's page 37. Marissa, the left switch, turn that on, I'll have more light. Page 37. The left one. No, not here, there. Yeah. Turn. So it says Reb Shlomo, אנחנו נמצאים כאן בעולם כדי להתעורר ולהאיר אחד את השני. We're here in this world in order to awaken ourselves, to awaken, and to awaken one another. Right? We're not here to sleep. We're here to wake up and to wake each other up. Katuv b'pasuk, it says in the verse, V'haya le'et erev yihye or. It says in the Navi that it will be in the time of the evening, and there will be light. Right? This is a verse from where? Let's see. Zechariah. Okay. So, Yeshnam shnei sugim shel anashim. There's two kinds of people. Anshei Yom, the day people, shehalchim acharei hashemesh, who follow by the sun, Anshei Laila shehalchim acharei hayareach, and the night people that follow after the moon. V'yadua shebnei Yisrael kovim et hashana lefi hayareach, and it's known that the Jewish people set the time, set the year calendar by the moon, right? Interesting that here we are at the start of what the world calls, January, the new year of 2016. And we're going by the calendar, by the moon. So there are sun people and there are moon people. האם פעם ראיתם שני אהובים יושבים ומסתכלים על השמש? Did you ever see, two people in love that are sitting and gazing at the sun? Usually they gaze at the moon. Lama lo? Why not? Harei ze or yafeh v'chazak. The sunlight is a very nice light and is a very intense light. Hazor HaKadosh masbir sh'hashemesh hi rak or chitzoni. The Holy Zohar explains that the sun only illuminates superficially. It's a superficial light. Lachein sha'ar ha'olam sofer al pi ha'shemesh. So therefore, even though the rest of the world is counting time by the sun, ha'olam shelanu מעוניין, העולם שלנו מעוניין רק בחיצוניות של הדברים. The world that we live in is basically just interested in the superficiality of everything. אבל הירח, לפי הזוהר הקדוש, but the moon, according to the Holy Zohar, מקבל את האור הפנימי של השמש. The moon receives the inner light of the sun. זאת אומרת שהירח מקבל את האור של השמש ומעמיק אותו. Meaning to say that the moon receives the light of the sun, right? It reflects the sun's light, but it makes it deeper.
How is that possible if the moon reflects?
Are you looking for a scientific explanation? I don't think that we're going to give you a scientific explanation here.
No, I'm not. How is it possible that something that reflects from something else should be more intense?
Not more intense, it's just deeper. In other words, again, when you say how is it possible, it sounds like we're looking for something scientific. I don't think that's I don't think that's the direction that he's going in. Okay? Anshe Yom, the day people, let's see what he's going to do. Anshe Yom, day people, Anashim Chitzoniyim, superficial people, Ovdim Bayom, V'yeshenim Balayla. You let them in or not? They're coming in?
Yes.
Okay. So superficial people work during the day and sleep at night. אבל אנשי לילה, אנשים פנימיים, the night people, the inner light people, גם עובדים, they also work, כי צריך לעבוד, וחשוב שיהיו דברים חיצוניים. They have to work also. Everybody has to work. And it's important that there should be superficial things in our lives. אבל העיקר הוא שהם כמו הירח. But the main thing is that they are like the sun in the sense, page 37. הם כל הזמן מחפשים את הפנימיות של הדברים. They're always looking for the inner aspect of everything. Okay? לצערנו, אנחנו חיים בעולם שמעוניין להוציא את כל הפנימיות מכל אחד. Sadly, or to our distress, we're living in a world that is interested, that it seems set to remove all the inner dimension from everybody. ואנשים מפחדים להראות את הצד הפנימי שלהם, and people, you have a book, yeah. Okay. What are you looking for? We're now in the second last paragraph. לצערנו is the beginning, okay? Right? לצערנו אנחנו חיים בעולם שמעוניין להוציא את כל הפנימיות מכל אחד. We're living in a world which seems bent on removing all the inner dimension from everyone. ואנשים מפחדים להראות את הצד הפנימי שלהם, and people are afraid to show or to share their inner dimension. העולם שלנו מלא בנימוסים. Our world is full of polite behave, benimusim shonim, certain, like, polite behaviors, אבל הם לגמרי שטחיים, but they're totally superficial. כשהגרמנים יימח שמם, ימם שין, יימח שמם, when the Germans made their name be blotted out, הכניסו את האנשים לתאי גז, when they were shoving the Jews into the gas chambers, הם אמרו בבקשה, they said, please, please move ahead. גועל נפש, right? They're shoving people to their death and they're saying, please. Disgusting. בפורים אני צריך להשתחרר מכל הנימוסים היפים הללו. On Purim, I need to be freed of all these polite, what's the word? What did
Mannerism.
Mannerisms, correct. Not so much mannerisms, but what did Emily Post write? What was the book she wrote about being polite? You guys didn't read Emily Post?
Pleasantries or nice?
No, yeah, but like, like, hi, good morning, how are you? Type of thing. And
Right.
but you don't mean it. Courtesy, yeah, how to be courteous, right? Courteous behavior. Right? They're shoving the Jews into the gas chamber and they're saying, please move forward. Right? יש אנשים נימוסיים שאומרים לך בוקר טוב, there are people who are polite and they say good morning, וכשאתה רק מפנה את פניך, and as soon as you turn your face away from them, הם יוקים לך בגב, they spit in your back. אבל יש אנשים, but there are also people, יותר פנימיים, who are more inner bound, שלא מאמינים בנימוסים היפים, שאצלם הכל יותר פנימי ועמוק. They don't believe in all these superficial courtesies. For them, everything is a lot deeper, a lot inner and interconnected. לוקח הרבה זמן לילד להבין כמה ההורים שלו מיוחדים. Takes the child a long time till they understand how special his parents are. קשה להאמין, אבל גם אני נולדתי, it's hard to believe it, but I also was born. גם אבא שלך נולד פעם. Also your father was born once. פעם כולנו היינו ילדים קטנים וחמודים. Once all of us were cute little children. לפעמים רואים בן אדם ועדיין ניכר על פניו שהוא ילד קטן. Sometimes you see a person and you can see on their face that he's still a child. אז הוא עדיין בסדר. That means he's okay, this person's still okay. אבל ישנם אנשים שאתה לא יכול לתאר אותם בתור ילדים, and then there are people that you cannot even imagine them as a child. הם אבודים, they're lost.
They're what?
Lost. Okay, so right, you remember when you were a child, if you didn't like something, you said, I don't like this. If you didn't like somebody, you said, I don't like this person. If you liked somebody, you said, I like this person, right? You were real. You were things were real, things were deeper, right? Then, but as you were being educated, you were being told, no, don't say that. It's not polite. Don't say that. It's not polite, right? And basically, you were educated to be very superficial, right? So says Rav Shlomo. So what did he connect this to? What he connected this to was the sun and the moon, saying that the sun is a strong, nice light, but it only illuminates things superficially, whereas the moonlight is it's not as intense as light, but it allows you to see more deeply, right? I once heard this parable about these two people that are in a cave for a long, long time, and they're having conversations, and they never saw each other. They're having conversations all the time. And then one day they're allowed out of the cave, and they see each other. So, and now they have conversations. They continue their conversations. So, which conversations are deeper? The ones that they had while they were in the cave, or the ones that they had once they came out of the cave? What do you say? What do you say? Inside the cave. Why?
Because they couldn't see each other.
Because they couldn't see each other's shot, meaning to say,
They're more open.
huh?
Open.
They were more open with each other. In other words, they had no. They were saying what they were thinking, and not based on what you look. Not based on what the other person looks like and the other person's expressions and so on, facial expressions, etc. You were just like talking for real. Once you see each other, it's already. I don't even know if it can be helped, but we're sizing each other. We're sizing each other up, making opinions about what on the basis of what we see about the other person. You look like this, you look like that, and it interferes with the depth of the conversation. It doesn't have to, but it usually does. So he says, I want to give you his teaching from. I want to share something with you which a lot of people are lacking. Quote? Okay, good. So be in touch. A lot of people are lacking this. שאילו יודעים אותה, אילו היו יודעים אותה, if they would know this teaching, החיים שלהם היו נראים אחרת. Their lives would be different. תזכרו את זה, remember it. זוהי תורה מעקדת יצחק, there's a sefer called עקדת יצחק, שהיה אחד מגדולי המקובלים במאה ה-14. He was one of the great Kabbalists in the 14th century. And here's what he says. The Gemara says, 40 יום לפני הלידה, 40 days before a child is born. הקדוש ברוך הוא כבר אומר לכל אחד מי יהיה בן זוגו. God is already announcing to everyone who's going to be their soulmate. וכן שואל עקדת יצחק, and if that's the case, the עקדת יצחק asks, למה ממהרים להגיד? What's the big rush? Why does it have to be announced who your soulmate is going to be? Why does it need to be announced 40 days before the birth? שהקדוש ברוך הוא יגיד בבר מצווה, בבת מצווה. It wouldn't be good enough at your bat mitzvah that you should be informed who's going to be your soulmate. You have to know already 40 days before you're born. Or when it's time for you to get married, that's when it should be announced. Why is it already being announced 40 days before birth? And the answer is, nobody can really know who their real soulmate is. Only God knows. Your best friend might tell you, your best friend might say, oh wow, you guys are such a match. But the truth is he doesn't have any idea. Only God knows who your soulmate really is. And for this reason, the Gemara says, is a kol katan, that 40 days before you're born, God sort of puts a that God puts this little voice into everybody's heart, nevuah ketana, a small prophecy, sheyedu imilas chatain, so that they should know whom to get married to. I'm blessing you, shetakshivu lakol hakatan hazeh, ve'amok hazeh, I'm blessing you that you should listen to that little voice. to that little prophecy. And to this holy prophecy. And I'm also blessing you. Well, hold on, that's the next paragraph. Okay, let's think about this for a second. So, what's the idea over here? That it's announced in heaven 40 days before you're born whom you should get married to, right? Who your soulmate is. In other words, on the surface level, you can't really know who your soulmate is. On the superficial level, you can't really know who your soulmate is. The early computer dating services, the way they worked was like they had a questionnaire of about 200 questions, let's say, and then they would match up how many people answered the same questions in the same way that you answered them, and then they say, "Oh, it's a shidduch," right? In other words, you went to Beis Yaakov, he went to Mahavas Torah, whatever it is, and of course it's a shidduch. How could it not be, right? And you've heard about, among Hasidim and the Babbage, for example, but not only in the Babbage, and not only among Hasidim, a lot of people go to rabbis or big Rashi Yeshiva before they make a shidduch, and all that they give the rabbi is your name and the name of the girl, and somehow or other through that kvittel, the rabbi can give an answer: is this your shidduch or is it not your shidduch? Can you get the door, please? Yes. And so we were learning this yesterday. Another person? Sorry, there's another sefer here. It just looks different. It's lying flat. Yeah. The left? Huh? Which Pizzaro?
Edwards.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so like like a chassid goes to his rabbi, page 38. Chassid goes to his rabbi and he says, okay, now here's the name of the girl. Does he think it's a shidduch? And somehow or other, they know through the names alone if it's a shidduch or not. I'm surprised. My friend Menachem Rosenblum told me also that before he did a shidduch, he went to Rav Fisher, who's like the Haredi Rav of the Rishalmi community, and they're not Hasidim. They also have a system by which he can tell you if it's not a shidduch, and also by the names. There's something called Gorel Hagro that the Vilna Gaon used to use. There's a whole story about when Chayalim on the highway, along the highway. There's a small little cemetery of Chayalim that were killed in 1948, and on their way to Yerushalayim, and they didn't know which body is whose body is, like which body belongs to which name, and they went to Rabbi Levine and he did a Gorel Hagro, and to figure out, I don't know how it works, but there was some kind of a Gorel, some kind of a way of lottery, like you open up a chumash and so on. It was able to identify who's who. Now, the Teimanim, I was sitting on a bus one day, and there was a Taimani girl next to me, and I saw that she had this chart with letters and things like that and so on. And she told me that they also use that to figure out if this is your shidduch, if this is your soulmate or not. So it raises a question. Not that I understand the matter completely, but in yesterday's parsha, if you remember, the first Rashi, Ve'ele Shmot B'nai Yisrael, these are the names of the children of Israel. So Rashi says that that we are compared to the stars, and just like the stars come out every night, God calls them by name and by number, and so too the children of Israel are also were compared to the stars in the sense that Hashem calls us by name, and also there's also the total number, which was 70 when we came down to Mitzrayim. Now, the idea of a number is like this. You could be the Gadol Hador, and you're just not one of the 70. I could be the lowest of the group, and I'm still one of the 70. Right? When you're talking about a number, every individual is equal. Okay? But when you talk about names, names are already different. Your name is, in a certain sense, just like, in other words, he says that the stars, it says nothing in this world grows without having a connection to something in the stars, to the zodiac, and so on. And does that mean that we believe in fate? Chas v'shalom? What exactly does this mean? Okay. So, what does it mean that, as a matter of fact, there's a Haredi rabbi here in Yerushalayim. His last name is Meshi Zahav, and my friend Barak was telling me he reads palms, and he's been to him a couple of times. And by looking at your palm, he says he couldn't believe it. He looked at his palm for a very short amount of time, and he proceeded to tell him almost all of his history.
Yeah.
Right? Now, there's an interesting question in halacha. If, let's say, an astrologer that is known to be reliable, that's known to be accurate, comes and says, hey, David, I heard you're planning to take a trip on Yom Sheni to such and such a place, and I advise you not to do it. Are you allowed to listen to him? Are you supposed to listen to him? What's the halacha? You've heard of this question before? And what's the halacha?
I'm remembering right, you're not supposed to listen to him.
If you're remembering right, they paskin that you should listen to him, because even though we say Ein Mazal Li-Yisrael, that the Jews are not under the power of the zodiacs, right? Still, Ein Samchin Al Hanes, we don't rely on miracles. In other words, so what does it mean, Ein Mazal Li-Yisrael? It means that, doesn't mean that there's that you have, that the mazalot, that the zodiacs have nothing to do with you. It means that you're not bound by it in the sense of fate. In other words, even we know that the lifeline on the palm can actually change directions. Things can change. Okay. When Hashem said, when Abraham Avinu says to God, what value is there in what you're giving me if I don't have a son to inherit me? And so the Mefarshim say that Abraham Avinu was a great astrologer, and he knew that according to the zodiac system, he was not destined to have any sons with Sarah. Okay. So it says, "Vayotzei oto hachutza." God took him out, and he says, "Look down at this. Look at the stars. Can you count them? That's how many your children. That's how many your progeny is going to be." And the Mefarshim explained that the Yotzei Torah Chutza means he took him out of his zodiac system. Okay. Now the zodiac system is basically the way in which Hashem's life energy is being channeled down to all the creatures in this world, even to the plants and the minerals, etc., etc. It's the system by which it's being delivered. Okay? A person's name says a lot about them. In other words, even though you get your name at an age when you're just a little baby, and we don't really know very much about you, it's considered to be like a shtickle prophecy. I told you the story about Moshe Rabbeinu. I have a friend whose name is Moshe Rabbeinu. You know him.
Sure.
No way.
It's a friend of mine.
Huh?
No way.
Yeah. His name is Mark Russell.
Right.
We met Mark at a retreat at Shelburne, at Loch Drake, one of those farms at a Ruach retreat. And then a couple of months later, this was like around in the beginning of autumn, a couple of months later, Mark lives in New York, calls us up and that his parents, who are not religious, have agreed to come and spend Pesach with him, provided that he could find a place which is macrobiotic. And Judy was cooking macrobiotic, so Mark and his parents came for Pesach to Montreal.
Yeah.
At some point, I asked him, "What's your Hebrew name?" So he says, Moshe Rabbeinu. So I said, "How'd you get that name?" So he said, "Ask my father."
No way.
Now, his father was an atheist. So he says that when when Mark was born, the Zayde came to see his daughter at the hospital and to see them. And he says to Mark's mother, he says, "You're going to give him a Jewish name?" And she said, "No." First he asked his father, the father said no. And the mother said, "No, but if you want to, go ahead, you can give him a Jewish name." So this Zayd was not a very learned man. He was from those Jews who came to America as a child, went to work right away in the factories and so on. But he knew that his grandson has to have a Jewish name, and there's these places in Manhattan, in the Shmata district, where they have like 6 o'clock in the morning minyanim, fast minyan, for the people who need to say Kaddish, What's his name? Had a shul there. Chaim Shimon, right?
Yeah.
Still is? I don't know.
Maybe.
And the Milner, it's called the Milner shul.
Millenary.
The millenary shul. You know the word millenary? It's shmatis.
Hat making.
Hat making business, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so this Zaidi comes into the shul. He says to the Gabbai, "I need to name my grandson." They gave him an aliyah. They're making the Mishaberach. And this man knew that in our tradition, there was a special man, a holy man, and whenever he heard stories about him, they always called him Moshe Rabbeinu. So he named him Moshe Rabbeinu. And the Gabbai was also a big Talmid Chochem. So he said the Mishaberach, Moshe Rabbeinu. We call it Shmoi B'Yisrael, Moshe Rabbeinu ben whoever his mother's name is. Anyway, Mark grows up very secular, and something happened at some point in his life, and it becomes about tshuva. And he goes to yeshiva, and his Rosh Yeshiva says, "We'd like to give you an aliyah on Shabbos. Come and find out what your Hebrew name is." So he goes home and asks his father. His father says, "I have no idea." His mother has no idea. "Go ask Grandpa. He's the one who gave you the name." So he goes and asks Grandpa. And Grandpa says, "Your name is Moshe Rabbeinu."
Oh my God.
So comes Shabbos, and they start calling him up, Yamoid, and he says, Moshe Rabbeinu. The Rosh Yeshiva says, "No way."
Rabbi Wechter. Pinchas Wechter.
Oh, you know who it was?
He went to Ireland. I wasn't there this Shabbos.
Yeah.
But he went wild. He told me he was going wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, they ended up asking Rav Moshe Feinstein, Olav Shalom, for a psak halacha, and Rav Moshe Feinstein ruled that he has to be called up to the Torah as Moshe Rabbeinu.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
That's his name.
That's his name.
The Shlomo said.
Moshe Rabbeinu is now got grandchildren already.
Yeah.
His two sons are like beautiful guys learning in yeshivas and so on, like unbelievable. Okay,
Wow.
because the moment parents like think should I give this name, should I give that name, they make their decisions, but in the end, it turns out to be that it's a prophetic moment. That's the name of this child. Okay, you can add names, but you can't take away the one that was given at birth. Okay, so the Indian is that the name is very, very much connected to who you are and what you're going to be doing in this world. And it's because of that, like, the tzaddikim, they can tell you, this is a shidduch, this is not a shidduch, or whatever it is. Understand? So the point that Rav Shlomo is making over here is like this, that
What's going to happen when this fellow is nifter? He's a frum guy, and his grandchildren, his children want to name their grandsons after him. Are they going to call the child Moshe Rabbeinu?
in this particular case, maybe, I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Actually, he's been had 120 years himself. So.
Yeah.
Good man.
He's an Ashkenazi, so they're not going to name anybody after him until he.
Yeah.
Until he's gone.
Anyway,
He's stolen the chassid. They probably wouldn't.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
What do we know? But in any case, how do you know who's your soulmate? Because on the basis of worldly information, you could meet two different people who are each of them equally good candidates, right? Somebody's going to suggest two guys to you, and they're both like, why not, right? So how are you going to decide? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo? How you roll the dice? What are you going to do? Say no to both of them? What are you going to do, right? How do you know? But something tells you this is the one. This is my soulmate. Okay. And how did you know that? Because that's the result of the announcement 40 days before your birth. It's already been announced. In other words, Hashem put this little nekuda of prophecy into your consciousness, or into your heart, and that's how you know. Now, it happens, and I'm not going to pretend that I can explain all situations. I can't, but it happens that people get married, and man, it doesn't last very long. So does that mean it was a mistake? Or does it mean that, no, this was your soulmate, but this was your soulmate only for a limited amount of time?
Never heard that.
As a matter of fact, when that teaching was the only thing that comforted me after I went through my divorce, because I couldn't understand, like, why did this end, you know?
Yeah.
And somebody one day told me that there is such a thing as a zivug for a certain amount of time.
That's gigantic.
Yeah, it is gigantic. And because I've heard, like, people come and tell me, oh, I made a mistake, I married the wrong person. No, you didn't make a mistake. Maybe this marriage is not meant to continue longer than a certain amount of time, but it was It was obviously Bashert that you were supposed to get married to this person. Hopefully, hopefully you've done whatever you've achieved, whatever tikkunim you needed to achieve in this. Tomorrow, not tonight, but tomorrow night is the yahrzeit of the Alter Rebbe. And just read a story, the Balatanya read a story just this morning about this couple that this elderly couple, they were finally blessed with a child, and this child was they were Hasidim of the Alter Rebbe. The kid was brilliant. Like the day that he was first taught Aleph Beis, not only did he know the Aleph Beis right after the first time, but he was already able to read. And so he was shown the letters, and and everything that he learned, like he absorbed it like really, really fast. And then he was like he by the time he was bar mitzvah, he was already making chidushim and all of shas and everything. And one day his father watches him reading a pamphlet from the Maskilim, but the Maskilim, the Jews of the Enlightenment, and who were totally anti-religious and so on. So his father says, "What are you doing?" He says, the Mishnah says, you should know how to answer an apikoros. Anyway, it happened a few more times, and he got sucked into the Maskilim. He left home, went to Berlin, the headquarters of the Haskalah movement, and he studied the math and medicine, and he actually wrote a book in math and a book in medicine. And then he was going to get married. So he decided to go home, so to speak, get his parents' blessings for the wedding. And he brought his 2 books with him. And for some reason or other, he decided that he was going to go to the Alter Rebbe first. So that he was going to show the Alter Rebbe, he was going to show him these 2 books that he wrote, and sort of get his haskama, his agreement on these 2 books. Comes to the Alter Rebbe, Rabbi Moshe Meisels asked him, "What are you doing here?" He says, "I want to see the Alter Rebbe." So the Alter Rebbe took him in right away, and he showed him his 2 books. The Alter Rebbe was very big in geometry and knew a lot about medicine also. And he reads a few pages and he says, "This is wrong," and crosses it out. And in the other book, he says, "This is also wrong." And he says, "Your books don't make any sense because they're built on false premises." And he said, "How could you say that?" That's what it says, because it's not true according to what it says in the Gemara. Anyway, he came out of the Yechidus, and he was very shook up. And finally, the Chassidim are watching him. And finally, he goes and he takes his 2 books and throws them into the fireplace. And he became a Baal Tshuva. And he sat and learned and learned and learned. And not long afterwards, he was nifter. He died. And the Alter Rebbe said that this person had the soul of Rabbi Elazar ben Durdai, who's mentioned in the Gemara. And that this soul has come back to the world a number of times to do its tikkun. And the Alter Rebbe said this soul needs to do its complete tikkun now. And Rabbi Elazar ben Durdai, Gemara says, who was this Rabbi Elazar ben Durdai? He was a man who had been with every prostitute in the world. And then he heard about one prostitute that was supposed to be like the super prostitute of all. Her price was 400 gold coins. And being who he was, he had to go to her. Anyway, he was about to be with her and she passed some gas. And he got turned off. And she's all upset. And she says, just like you can't put that back into my body, you're never going to do tshuva. And he goes out into the field and he sits down, puts his head between his knees. And the Gemara says he cried and cried and cried and cried and cried until he died. And a bas kol came out from heaven saying, Elazar ben Durdai, we're coming right into Gan Eden. And the Gemara says one of the rabbis said, one of the rabbis heard the story, he was crying. He says, some people manage to acquire their olam haba, their portion in the world to come in one day, So the Alter Rebbe said this neshama of this yid was the neshama of Rebbe Elazar ben Durdai, and there was this, and this neshama was a neshama that would come down to the world with great potential and go astray, and then do tshuva, and this was the last time that this neshama had to come down to the world to do that tshuva. Anyway, why did I even mention this story with Elazar ben Durdai? Because, in other words, somehow, I don't know how the Alter Rebbe knew, but your name is sort of like the code which reveals just about everything about you. It's not destiny, it's not fate. You still have free choice. Okay? You still have free choice. But even with the free choice, there are certain things that are already known about you in the first place. I don't know how to read a kvittel, but there are tzaddikim who do, and how they operate, how they have their information, how they tell somebody, yeah, this is a good shidduch, this is not. I have no idea. Okay, but it works. And what about those who do, a Rebbe said, oh yeah, do the shidduch, and then they find out that it's not working. It was a shidduch for that amount of time. And go on, you understand? But the initial position that one should take is, yes, this is my soulmate, and we got to work it out. We got to try to work out things and try to make it work. Okay? On the other hand, if you can't make it work, don't think that it was a total failure.
Yeah.
You understand? Don't think that it was a total failure. In any case, all this was connected to what we're in the middle of learning, is that know that there is a whole inner dimension to our lives. And even though you can't quite explain why, there's a certain truth to it. Okay? If you can tell me why you want the room painted green, I can convince you to paint it a different color. If Shlomo said to somebody, if you could tell me why you're marrying this girl, I can convince you to marry my sister instead. Right? It has to be on the level of that is beyond the logical why. Beyond the logical why. And the Poel, when you say, I want this color, then nobody's going to change your mind. If you say, I want this color because of this reason and this reason, someone can come and say to you, well, if those are your reasons, a different color is going to work better for you. Okay? But if you just say, no, I don't know why, I just like this color, this is what I want, understand? That's what you want. If Prince says, I like this guy, I want to marry this guy, even though The other guy that was going out with her is treating her better, and this one is not treating her very nicely, but somehow or other, like she knows this is my soulmate, or and they know. So you have your soulmate. First and foremost, know that this is your soulmate. Hopefully, this is going to be an everlasting relationship. Bayit Neman Israel Binyan Adei Ad, an everlasting relationship. Understand? And do everything that you can to make it an everlasting relationship. Okay. And there was something that guided you to marrying this person. Understand? There was something that made it happen that way. So that Baruch Hashem, it happened, and it took place. And now, go on with the next step in your life. So, in any case, back the context that we're learning right now is learning to discover and to see things in a deeper way. Okay? He's going to go on to talk about children, right? Like how many parents have kids and they have dreams that, oh, my kid is going to be a doctor, my kid is going to be a lawyer, or whatever. And then it turns out that the kid isn't interested at all in being what the parents had in mind, right? There's this guy, I met him again a couple of years ago when I was in yeshiva in Toronto. His parents were dead set against him becoming religious, and they went so far as to literally disown him. They wrote him out of their will. Like sometimes parents have these ideas that, if you're going to be the way I want you to be, then you're my kid. If you're not my kid, right? It's because it's all superficial. Okay. I heard this wild thing. Was it you who mentioned it the other day? There was this rabbi in town from New York, Rabbi Mizrahi, Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi. There was an article in Times of Israel on Friday that he claims that only 1 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust because the others were assimilated that they're not really they're not really Jewish.
Yeah, he said a lot of horrible things.
You were there? You heard him?
I just read articles. He said a lot of horrible things.
And
Where do people get this stuff?
it's like nobody ever said that. Not only that the Lubavitch Rebbe didn't say it, Rav Shach never said it. Nobody said that, right? And here comes up with a chiddush.
Lev Yitzchak, the Viditchva goes into a bar on Yom Kippur night to schmooze with the Shikurim. And so he says, "You hungry?" He says, "To get him off the hook. Are you hungry?" He says, "Yes, Rabbi, we're hungry." Oh, they're hungry. It's not that they're covering; they're not going against you. Just they can't control.
Yeah.
And he's saying this. Anyway,
My point right now is not so much to talk about him. My point is that every one of our brothers and sisters are Yidden, and they are brothers and sisters. You understand? Whether they're the nicest people in town or whether they're the lowest, it's still your brother, still your sister. Okay. Okay, so we'll continue with this in Mr. Shem tomorrow on page 39.
Go ahead.